Good morning, students. I am SAKILA, Assistant Librarian from Tamil Nadu Open University. Today I am talking about Collection Development Policy. The collection development is an important activity of a librarian. It involves several kinds of documents like books, periodicals and serials, publications, academic theses and dissertations, research reports, annual review, conference proceedings, pamphlet and specifications, pattern, maps, atlas and also globes, photographs, illustrations, paintings, audiovisuals, aids, etc. Objective of the collection development. The primary purpose of the library is to purchase, organize and make ready accessible print and non-print information sources to stimulate interest and provide information to all library users. In the provision of library materials, broad purpose are considered. Informational to serve the community as an information center by providing authoritative materials for the answering of specific questions. Educational to provide reliable materials to help meet the need of patents in their pursuit of formal and informal. Next on collection development meaning. It means library collection is the sum total of library materials that for books, manuscripts, serials, government documents, etc. Definition of the collection development. Harvard's librarians glossary defined collection development as the process of planning a stock acquisition program, not simply to cater for immediate need, but to build a coherent and reliable collection over a number of years to meet the objectives of the services. Purpose of collection development. The collection development goes beyond selection and acquisition of documents. The essence of collection development is the user's needs when building a collection. Find out the information and document needs of the users. Provide relevant and nascent information. Identify documents that are useful to the users and acquire them from reliable sources. Adopt a document collection policy that ensure judicious spending and at the same time remaining the objectives of the services. These are the purpose of the collection development. Next one, library collection developments include the creation of policies to guide material selection, replacement of worn or lost materials, removal of materials no longer needed in the collection, planning for few collections or collection areas, cooperative decision making with other libraries or within library consortia. Next one, functions of collections libraries. Maintenance work of the document collection involves continuous monitoring of the proper stocking arrangement and display of books on the shelves in the stockroom and taking care of them. This essential implies of two aspects. First one is arrangement of the document on the shelf and organizing of the stockroom in the library. Conservation of books and overall cleanliness of the stock areas. Shelving the document, location of documents, shifting of collections, dusting and cleaning of collections, preparation and maintenance of guides, maintenance of shelf list, stock verifications, binding and vigilance. These are the functions of the collection library. Next one, collection development policy. A collection development policy is a written statement of selection principles and criteria with guidelines on the depth of subject coverage on details such as language, geography and time period. Next one, importance of collection development policy for libraries. A collection development policy forces the library staff and the governing body to think through the goal of the library. It helps to assure that the library will seriously commit itself to serving all parts of the community. It informs users, administrators, governing bodies, and other libraries in the area of the scope and nature of the collection. It helps to minimize personal basis on the part of the individual sectors. It serves as a good in-service training tool for new staff members. Next one, guidelines for collection development. The level of collection intensity, language, chronological period to be covered, geographical area collected. Next one, form of material collected, and person responsible for selections. These are the guidelines of collection. Next one, weeding out policy. Weeding out is the activity that removes the unwanted documents from the library. The Library Committee of the UGC came out with a report on the need for weeding out. Many works lose their value within one generation, say in 25 years after becoming obsolete. There is no point in providing shelf space. Hence, the documents to be weeded out periodically. Discouraging factors in weeding out policy. Love for numbers. Quantity of documents override quality of service. In numbers rest a sense of breed. Next one, sensitivity of collections. Feeling that even if they are old, they have a value. The prescription is that the older the book, the greater the value. Process of work. Weeding out in a effect intensive activity requiring meticulous, sensible, and justifiable be action. Routine details will suffer due to the time taken by weeding out work. Fear of audit. Librarians need to have a solid justification when audits raise objections. Next one is collection organizations. The effective use of the collection can be made in the document collection in a library is organized. This means the activities in a document collection system should be methodically but put together to accomplish the functional goal. Library collections shall be organized to ensure efficient identification and retrieve. It shall be catalogued, classified, and or indexed according to accepted standards of bibliographic description and a system of classifications. The catalog shall be in format that permits concurrent of simultaneous use by library client. The characteristics of the collection organizations. Identifying potential users, defining the circulation process, carrying out audits and tracking lost books, compiling reading list. These are the collection organizations. Next one, arrangement. All the documents that are procured for a library must be arranged systematically. This will enable the locating of documents to be effortless. Undertaking the organization of a collection is not an easy task. The major problem is that books in a library are arranged in book racks that are in vertical rows. However, there are other types of documents such as map, sound recordings, gramophone records, and microfilms, floppy disk, and so on that need to be arranged differently. In a library, there are some documents that are lent out and some that are not. Reference materials such as dictionaries, encyclopedias, and so on are not lent out. Very often, books are donated to a library by reputed scientists and scholars. These are kept separately in the special collection section. Next one, classifications. A library classification is the arrangement of books on shelves or description of them in a manner which is most useful to those who read. Library classification systems group related materials together, typically arranged as a hierarchical tree structure. This classification scheme, popularly used by academic libraries in India, are Dewey Decimal classifications and column classification schemes, with the former being the most used. The DDC provides the DDT provides on significance advantage. It is kept up to date by issuing Dewey classification editions in mid between the new editions. Next one is cataloging. It is records as a work in which contents are arranged in a reasonable way in a particular order or according to set a plan. Cataloging is another method used to make search and retrieval easy for the user. When we talk the classification of documents, especially book, monographs and bound periodicals, we can use only one classification to arrange them on the library shelves. Classification is the process of creating metadata represented information resources such as books, sound recording, moving, images, etc. Cataloging provides information such as creator name, title, and subject terms that describe resources typically through the creation of bibliographic records. Next one, type of cataloging. There are two types of cataloging. One is descriptive cataloging and the other one is subject cataloging. The descriptive cataloging is a well-established concept in the tradition of library cataloging, in which a distinction is made between descriptive cataloging and subject cataloging, each applying a set of standard, different qualifications, and often also different kind of professionals in the tradition of documentation and information science. Example by commercial bibliographic database. The concept of documented representation have mostly been used to cover both descriptive and subject representation. Descriptive cataloging has been defined as part of cataloging concerned with describing the physical details of a book, such as the form and choice of entries and the title page transcriptions. Next one is subject cataloging. It may take the form of classification or indexing. Classification involves the arrangement of the document to the classification in the classification system. Classification typically use a controlled vocabulary, while indexing may be used a controlled vocabulary, free times or both. Next one, user services. In academic library, it is remarkable that the primary responsibility to provide service to the institutions, students, faculty and staff. In fact, academic libraries have other special category of users who must be registered through the library. The special users may include local school, college teachers and administration, alumni, etc. These are the user services. Next on circulation services. It provides friendly and courteous service to the general public in lending library materials. Additionally, staff members are responsible for answering directional questions, maintaining copy machine. It involved identifying potential users, defining the circulation process, carrying out audits and tracking lost books, maintaining the books stocks, assisting students to select documents, managing loans with other libraries. These are the circulation services. Next one, reference service. According to Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, reference service is the process of establishing right contact between the right reader and the right book at the right time in the right passion way. It is a personal service to each reader in helping him to find the documents, answering his interest at the moment, pinpointedly, exclusively, and expeditiously. These are the reference service. Collection care and evaluation. As per Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's second and third law of the library services, talk about caring for the collections, every reading his or her books and every book its reader. The library is responsible for the care of all materials that are part of its collections. Proper care is essential to help increase of the life of the materials and also to guard against loss of the materials when we say lost. It includes reasons such as climatic variations, direct light, dust and diet, various type of insects and human beings. These are the collection care and evaluations type. Next one, self-rectifications. It is the activity of thoroughly reading each self and putting back in proper order all the books that have been misplaced. Some advantages of self-rectifications. Library shelves will emerge as neat and in order and the books will be placed in the organized way. The placement of the shelves will facilitate the users when they search for books, helping them to save time and locate the required book effortlessly. Library staff will find it easy to notice damaged books and books that need to be immediately sent for binding, repair, and replacement or weeding out. Library staff will find it easily to recognize gap in the collections. Next one is stock verification. The process of taking stock by checking record of books possessed with the copies on the shelves of record of books on loan. Advantages of the stock verifications. What are the advantages? Reveals lost books, help in undertaking stock verification, helps in updating library catalogs and other records, identifies books that need repair and replacement, provide opportunity to serve stock and be aware of the library collections. These are the stock verifications. Disadvantages of stock verification. Next one. Regular routine of library work gets distribute inconvenience to reader in case considered to be a waste of time, energy and money by some. May turn out to be a futility since the reality may never be revealed for various reasons. These are the disadvantages of stock verifications. Next one is collection evaluation. Evaluation of document is a necessary part of the collections development policy and is an essential activity of a library. The quality of service provided by a library can only be improved through proper evaluation of the collection. Next one, collection evaluation involves both quantitative and qualitative values. Next one is the objectives of the collection evaluations. One is how useful in the collection, strength of the collection, and how effectively the money is spent. In order to achieve the goal of evaluations, the following points need to be kept in the mind. What is the true scope of the collections? What is the depth of the collection? How is collection is used? What are the strong area of collections? What are the weak area of the collections? Type of materials collected. Book. First one is book. Using the criteria of our selection, books may be collected in print and electronic formats. Reference materials. The reference collections includes print and online encyclopedias, document dictionaries, atlas, directories, index, bibliographic, statistical complaints, and handbooks. The collection is regularly reviewed for currency, accuracy, usage, and relevance. Next one is periodicals. Periodicals collections should support the LCC curriculum core collections of general interest periodicals. Periodicals are primarily acquired through online database collections. Print subscriptions are only acquired after review by the faculty librarians. Next one, audiovisual materials. Audiovisual materials includes DVD, streaming audio and video. Specialized AV materials may be expensive and will be included in the collections if they meet the general selection guidelines, can be used in more than one course or discipline, are durable and easily accessible. Next one is electronic resources. Electronic resources are materials in digital formats such as electronic periodicals, e-books, database, and web-based resources. The library may purchase or provide access to online electronic resources and live of other formats. Selection criteria for electronic resources include cost, extent of cumulative coverage, production quality, training requirement, ease of use. Next one is recreational materials. Librarians may selectively acquire popular fiction, DVDs, bibliographics, and how-to book to general interest to augment the collections. Book for newly literate and low literate adult. The library may purchase books in support of the adult basics, high school completions, GED, bridge, and ESL programs. Children books. The library may purchase children's books to support the early childhood programs and others. These are the type of categories. Next one is selection. In the academic library, the book selection is made by faculty member of the department. The collection department policies concern that are 5 main levels. First one is comprehensive level. This one is special collections level, where the intent is to be exclusive. This level would include all significant works. Next one is research level. This level targets materials required for PG and independent research. It includes all major source materials, important and reference works, specialized monograph, extensive compilations of journals, and the main indexing and abstracting services in the subject. Next one is study level. This level addressed the need of UG and graduate coursework and for continued work, but a lesser level compared to that or the research level. Next one is basic level. In this level, the subject is identified by the documents with a clear indication that further information can be made available from other sources. Minimal level. At this level, the library will acquire the absolute reference tools only and nothing beyond the subject basis will not be a part of the scope of the library. These are the selections category. Next one is general selection guidelines. Relevance to instructional need of the faculty. Next one, intellectual content and scholarly work. Support for subject areas and vocational emphasis currently represented by credit courses at the LCC. Next one, criteria for selections. Review, currency and quality of content, timelines and lasting value, reputations of the author or publishers, physical and technical quality, ease of access and user friendliness, depth of current and holding in the subject, demand and frequency of submit request placed for material on the subject. Next one, cost and then availability in alternate formats. These are the criteria for selections. Next one, selection policy. Instructions and research. Academic libraries and more specifically university libraries have two main functions, instructions and research. Where a college library is concerned, the focus in most probability has to be on instruction instead of research. Next one, foreign books. For research and higher learning materials for each subject of the institution's interest must be selected and acquired without considering the language is it written in. Current and older materials. For an institute with restricted graduate courses, associated academic library may have a preference for current materials over older materials. Operative acquisitions and interlibrary loans can provide a solution to the needs of older materials. Next one is research materials. The parent organizations, institutions for acquiring research program. This can be used for the basis of the academic materials that will be useful and relevant to the research studies. Next one, textbooks. To acquire multiple choice of textbooks, the UGC introduced a scheme known as Book Bank Scheme. The purpose of this scheme was to help students from a weaker background. The book bank was provided with multiple copies of useful textbooks to be loaned to these students. In addition, many university libraries and public libraries have provision for a separate textbook sections. Next one, popular book. The university library may find it desirable to form a small collection of popular materials. Rare book and manuscripts. The libraries must go ahead and acquire rare books and manuscripts that are of specific local or national interest. Next one is material and microfiche on related forms. An increasing number of current publications are also available in microform. In general, it is best to acquire microform, the type of materials that general it is the best of to acquire in microform the type of materials are likely to be used for research by few individuals rather than for general reading by many. Next one is acquisition program. Defined acquisition program is the process for considering and integrating acquisition efforts by using a plan to fulfill agency needs in a timely manner and at a reasonable cost. It includes developing the overall strategy for managing the acquisition, planning, enable or coordinate execution of the various efforts that constitute acquisition management. Next one, budget allocation. Each area of the curriculum has its own material budget allocation. Allocations are determined by the faculty librarians and library leadership and based on curricular relevance, program order size and research needs, publishing cost, the specific disciplines, balance of collection and general overall collection needs. Faculty and staff planning new courses or programs are encouraged to contact the lesson librarian for their discipline. The library materials budget may be adjusted depending on the overall library budget and the need of the college. The materials budget and fund allocations will be reviewed by the faculty librarians at least once a term during the academic year. Next, conclude. Collection development deals with reinterruption of traditional library mission and practice for the digital library environment. Information professionals have to actively develop, maintain and manage wide range of resources. Collection development should aim at balancing among buying, borrowing and available spaces. There are a number of problems in collections development. Many are common, few are unique to library concerns. Thank you.